Episode 192.
All right, what are we talking about today?
This one is really important to me, and I really hate that it may be a little longer than normal, but this is 8 reasons to network for introverts. And believe me, it wasn't until recently that I even realized networking was important at all. I'm a loner. We are introverts. We're those type of folks. So it was hard to even realize that there are more than enough great reasons, and now I can't stop talking about it.
Okay. All right.
Okay, so the first reason to network for introverts is that you have to understand that networking is just about finding more people like you.
Yeah, that's true.
More people like you. If there are more people like you, then y'all can all be in a room alone together. Be comfortable.
Yeah.
So that I'm saying that's a reason alone.
Yeah, it is. And sometimes it's kind of difficult to put yourself out there because you never know how people are going to, I guess, accept you or not accept you or react to you or whatever else. So I think that's the difficult part of networking is the ice-breaking aspect of it, because a lot of times when you're at events, they don't necessarily have like the ice-breaking thing and stuff like that. And then sometimes too, the ice-breaking stuff is a little bit corny.
It is.
You know what I mean? So it can be a bit awkward in order to do that. I mean, I guess that's probably why people use the liquid ice-breaking called alcohol.
We're going to talk about some strategies next episode.
That kind of help the
that will help, that will help introverts like us.
Right.
Network better.
Yeah.
All right, so the second reason to network for introverts is it's about letting as many people as you can know what you do. A lot of times we think that, that we've shared something and that all the people in the world who would be interested have seen it. Yeah. And then we find out a ways later that they haven't. And so really networking is about just reinforcing and letting people, who maybe we haven't met know.
Right. But that's why I think it's important too. One of the ways that you can network without even opening your mouth is become a human billboard for your brand.
Yeah.
So, I mean, if you do have swag, if there are t-shirts that you have, if there's whatever that you have, wear that.
I was about to say, that's our pro tip that's going to come next episode that we did for conferences. When we went to different conferences, just having on the merch, that there were people the one guy behind us, he had Googled us, just sitting behind us, and then just people see, and I always say front and back, so that they can kind of catch you.
So do as much as you can to represent your brand.
Yeah.
Wow, that kind of rhymed there. As much as you can
to represent your brand.
Yeah, so that all along, especially if you're at a conference or something like that, always don't just say, I'm just going to throw on any t-shirt.
Sweatshirt.
Do that. You don't want to fade back into anonymity.
No.
You want to kind of represent who you are, what you are, what you're about, so that people can kind of just take a look at you and say, hey, either you look interested, maybe you don't look interested, whatever, but, you will start to attract your tribe just by what you're wearing.
Yeah, I like that. All right, so the number 3 reason why you should network for introverts like us is you won't get any of the benefits unless you start doing it. So you actually have to be actively doing it.
Right. Again, this goes back to the communalism that, doing music is a communal type of experience.
Yeah.
It's not a lonely by yourself type of thing. You have to interact with others.
And I know it's hard.
It's about doing shows. That's kind of all part. Again, they call it entertainment, they call it show business.
Yeah.
You have an audience. It's a crowd. You have all of these things that are built into what you do that's about you making a connection with people.
Yeah.
And so, again, if you can't really connect with people,
Yeah.
you're going to find it very difficult to be a DIY rock star,
Yeah.
because you kind of have to wear that hat
Yeah.
that, maybe artists in the past that has a record label and has somebody, an A&R or whatever else, promotion or whatever else, who can go out and do that. Well, you don't have that.
No.
So what you have to do is you have to figure out a way that's being true to yourself.
Yeah.
Now, I'm not saying you got to grovel and all the rest of that kind of stuff. As much as you do want to be true to yourself, and you want to be able to say, I'm putting myself out there and letting people know that they can connect with you.
Yeah, and make sure you check out the next episode, because we're gonna actually go through tips for doing that. Okay, so the number 4 reason why you should even bother networking is that being a DIY rock star and being and I guess achieving your goals is not an overnight process. So it takes those little, I guess, to spread out along the way is drawing people in. You have to draw people in a few at a time, along the way. And so if you're actively always networking, you're always putting yourself out there, you'll see that what you're doing starts to bloom. That is your tribe starts to expand.
You do, and you can do it virtually too. I mean, I think that's the thing that we realized before is that, quietly, we started to establish a bit of a web presence.
Yeah.
And kind of just the things that we were doing along the way.
I know. Just Google Prejippie, and you just see, and we didn't, like you said, it wasn't something we necessarily planned.
Right.
But along the way, when we would put things out there,
right,
and of course having a unique name, but that's on the strategy side. I want to go to the strategy so badly, but I'm not.
Right.
We're just going to the reasons now.
Yeah, and that you just have to keep kind of putting yourself out there, allowing yourself to be out there. And then, again, allow yourself to make mistakes. Yeah. Allow yourself to put your foot in your mouth. Yeah. But recover from that. You've got to be like, a pitcher who just threw a pitch and then got hit for a home run, or a defensive back who just gave up a touchdown. You have to let that go,
and be ready for the next play.
That's what you got to do. You have to do that, because if you just hold on to that stuff, it's going to mire you down, and you're not going to get anything out of networking.
Okay, so the next reason why is that if you make a commitment, I promise you, if you make a commitment to start right now and then check back to what goals you have hit in a year, you will have like so much more success. And I'm saying I will eat my hat, and I don't have a hat, but I will eat a hat if you don't see success by just taking the steps that we're going to have in the next episode.
Okay.
So if you don't have expanded success, meeting some of those goals that you want and having those connections, then again, I'll have a hat to eat on the next episode.
All right, that sounds good to me.
All right, so the next reason that you should network is you have to be realistic. That it's much easier to network with your peers. Or somebody who's just above you than it is to say, hey, I'm gonna be friends with Bruno Mars, or I'm gonna be friends with Seal. It's like, you might follow them and they might like a tweet or two or whatever, but you're gonna probably have a deeper connection with somebody. And so I would say that that's a good reason, because they're easier to reach. It's easier for them for you to see success in connecting with them.
Right. It's like we're in South by Southwest. We were in the same room with Nile Rodgers. That didn't mean that, now I'm going to go. And, and sometimes it's like, it's networking under the best set of circumstances. So there was a big line of people who were waiting to talk to Nile Rodgers, right? Everybody. So for me, that wasn't necessarily the best position for me to go and talk to him. I mean, it just wasn't. I mean, you get it. I mean, most people are just kind of fanboying, and I don't blame them. I mean, Now's the man. You know what I mean? So I get that. But that's kind of different from networking. And sometimes there might be somebody else in the room who you could be overlooking, who could be more of an assistance to where you are right now than what Nile Rodgers could be. You know what I mean? Because Nile Rodgers probably got tons of CDs, or probably got tons of links or whatever to, hey, check out that, he's not gonna get a chance to do all of that stuff. Whereas if you could going back to your point,
Yeah.
network with someone who's a peer, who's this. You may have met somebody you can collaborate with,
Yeah.
somebody who can help to further your career.
Yeah.
You can help them further theirs.
Yeah.
You make a win-win out of it.
Yeah.
So
yeah, actually, one of the people we were sitting next to told us about the how to jump the line or whatever, some type of. And
right.
again, that's a peer. Somebody else who's just
Right.
sitting there in one of the sessions
Right.
was a lot more helpful than even than the stuff we were looking at on the website or
Right.
going to maybe an information booth. He just volunteered that, and it's like, okay, so now we know.
Just by talking to these people.
Yeah.
So again, you'll probably get a lot more out of that. So don't overlook
Your peers.
Right.
Yeah.
Your peers and people who are around you, thinking they can't help you
Yeah.
just because it's not, quite apparent.
Yeah, so sometimes there's a reason to just look right around you. All right,
Yeah.
the next reason why you should network is usually once you meet one person, you open yourself up to their entire network.
Right. Yeah.
So once they know you, then all of a sudden, not only are you a possible resource for something that they hear about, but also
Right.
their friends are now kind of your friends. you
Right.
know?
Because you never know who people are connected to.
Yeah, that's true too.
You just don't. And
Yeah.
so again, never think that this person. Just don't
Yeah.
build those type of assumptions to
Yeah.
yourself. Meet people. And accept them for where they are. But
Yeah.
again, you just never know where these connections can take you.
Yeah, we like that. And then the final tip, which is my favorite, you don't need everybody. Everybody does not have to like your music. Everybody does not have to connect with you. I would say out of one of the approaches that I try, which is just to respond to emails that people already send out, out of 10 that I send out responding to folks, maybe 2 people respond back. But
Yeah.
those 2 people, then I know the door is open.
Right.
And all I need is a few. You need a few here, a few there. So, just constantly doing that.
Right.
Those 1 and 2, they start to add up. We don't need everybody.
That's so true. I mean, I just think about the hundreds of artists who are out there who, and I have probably 20,000 songs in my iTunes library.
Yeah.
And there's still hundreds of artists who I never have bought one of their songs, listened to one of their songs, who are doing just fine without me. And it just are killing it without me. And so that's going back to your point that you can't connect with everybody.
No.
You will not be able to connect with everybody. And you know what? That's fine.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah.
That's the way it's supposed to be.
Yeah, it is.
So-
Because remember, you're only looking for the people who there's something that makes them want to connect with you.
Right.
You want to connect with them. So again, you're not going around asking everybody.
Yeah.
You're going around asking people who you think you might have a kinship with or some type of like-mindedness.
Right.
And then those are the folks that hopefully you will get a few out of each of those groups.
And again, I'm saying that, and I hate to put it this way, but it's sort of like when a woman dresses very revealing, right? The things that she might be showing, she kind of knows that she's going to get a lot of attention from guys or whoever that might be interested
That's
in
true.
that,
That's
right?
true.
Knows that, right? And you'll see people do that, whether it's on YouTube, whatever else. And I guess that's the same way you kind of have to be with your brand.
Mm-hmm.
Is that, wear who you are.
Yeah.
So that, maybe you don't have to work as hard trying to convince people that you're something that they're not seeing just from looking at you.
Right.
So, and I know that there's that whole thing, and it's true, that you can't judge a book by its
Why
cover.
not? That's how you choose what to read.
But all I'm trying to say is that people do that, though, right?
Yeah.
That you have to understand that part of it. That, you can't judge a book by its cover, but if you have a great cover, that helps.
That does.
And
more
so
people
right.
to even look at you to see if they want to read you.
Exactly. So you want to kind of reflect what is inside of you.
Yeah.
So because that cover is your billboard.
Yeah. It is.
And so that's
It
that
is.
first thing that kind of attracts people in. And then gets them to read it.
Yeah.
So yeah, you're absolutely right. You can have the greatest book in the world and you can have it in a paper bag.
Right.
And people may pass over it because of that.
Yeah.
And that's the thing, but you don't want to be that person.
No.
You want to be that person that has that great book cover and there's a great book inside.
Yeah.
You got both.
Yeah.
So and there's nothing wrong with that.
I like that. All right, so what do you guys think? What is a reason to network, especially for introverts like us, for us DIY rock stars? What reason do you have that we haven't already covered? Make sure you put it in the comments below. What else?
And of course, we're Sugarfit. It's out there. It's everywhere. You can stream it everywhere. You can get it from Bandcamp. You can get it from CD Baby. So wherever you want to get it, you can get it.
Right.
You know, and then also Patreon with respect to vinyl. So we'll work that up. So.
Oh yeah, and don't forget to come back next time for strategies.
Right.
For networking for introverts. All
Yeah.
right. If you dig the vibe and you want to be a part of the tribe, be sure to
Subscribe.
We're wishing you love, peace, and
Chicken grease.